مثل ماهی تو آب اگر شنا بلد باشی از هیچ اقیانوسی نمیترسی. Which is a saying that my dad told me growing up in Farsi, which translates to, like a fish in open water. As long as you know how to swim, you'll never be afraid of the ocean. I translated that in my life a little later on. I found out what it meant. It gave me my fearlessness, my adaptability. I'm still afraid of sharks, don't get me wrong. But really, it gave me the tools I needed to go on in my life. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Montreal. Well, actually, no. I was born in Montreal. Montreal? Anyone make some noise? Ah, ouais. Salut, bonjour, bonsoir. But I was actually conceived in France. Land of amour. Land of wine and cheese. Well, my parents, when my mom was 5 months pregnant, decided to trade the land of wine and cheese for Quebec. For poutine and cold, you know what I mean? Who would figure? I grew up with a lot of love. I was lucky. And honestly, I considered myself lucky. Both my mom and my dad loved me unconditionally, and that's more than a lot of kids can say. The problem was they didn't love each other. So 3.5 years later, after me coming to the world, they divorced. So I'm a child of divorce. And then it's okay. They both remarried. Not each other, other people. And then they both had a son, another son. My mom had a son, Babak, my brother. And then my dad had a son as well, Pejman, my other brother. And then they re-divorced. So my brothers had to go through the same thing that I did. Fun times. But you know what, again, even in those tough times, they were still such fantastic parents because through adversity, again, like a fish in open water, they were able to still be fantastic parents and love and care and give. I'll tell you a little bit about my childhood. I grew up with my mom and my brother Babak, custody. And I'd see my dad on Sundays. But every time, I have to say, and I tip my hat off to my mom, as a single parent, to be able to raise 2 boys, to be able to go through school, get her bachelor's, work. My mom was a superhero, so thank you, Mom, for everything. You've made me the man or the boy I am today, so thank you so much. But Sundays were fun days. Sundays were fun days. Sundays were days that I spent with my dad and my brother Pejman, and we'd have fantastic times together. And as the Sunday dad, he'd just show us a good time. We'd go to movies, he'd drop us off at the arcade and pick us up. But in the middle of all that fun, he'd still instill some of his life learnings, some of the messages that he wanted us to grow up with, some of the kind of, some of his history. And today I see how they affect my life today. A little anecdote about growing up. My brother Pejman, much like me, had a lot of energy, but he was a bit more of a rebel. He was a bit more of a pest. And at the tender age of 7, we'd go to parks together, and he'd just run around and kick a tree and like chase the birds, and he was really, out of control. And my dad would tell him, Pejman, why do you do that? Why do you kick the tree? A tree is part of nature, it's alive. Hug the tree, love the tree. Well, he took that literally, and to mock my dad, from that day on, every time he'd see a tree, Pejman. He was such a ball of energy. A little bit more about my life. One of the biggest hurdles of my life was at the age of 18, I got kicked out of my house. I got kicked out of my mom's place, Iranian woman, and she found a bag of marijuana and thought her son was dealing drugs, which was not the case. I just liked marijuana. I was 18. Trouble, do you remember the divorces? So she kicked me out, and at the age of 18, I had to be like a fish in open water and start my life. And I did. I had to do my laundry. I had to cook for myself. Spaghetti meatballs was a part of my routine. Craft dinner. Oh, craft dinner with hot dogs, uncooked hot dogs. Yum. And I had to pay my way for CJEP or college. So I dropped out, and I just pursued my life path. I had over 30 jobs between 18 and 21. 30 different jobs. I tried everything, from shoe salesman to car salesman to door-to-door golf package. Hey, you want a golf package? Everything I could get my hands on. I was even a relay operator for the deaf and hard of hearing. ERA, Yeah, there you go. They don't exist anymore. Internet fixed that, but it was a great job. And it landed me where I am today. 10 years ago, in 2008, I started Just for Laughs, the International Comedy Festival in Montreal. Through my experiences and connections, I landed there. And, 10 years later, I can tell you guys, it was a place where I got to mix passion, emotion, experiences. I got to travel, and I tip my hat off to the people that saw potential in me and gave me the chance to do what I love, which is, again, just talk to people and share my love for comedy and just like evolve in what I'm good at, which is comedy. Okay, anyways. So obviously there was a lot of hurdles in my life. But like a fish in open water, I kept swimming through them. My dad 3 years ago went through a quadruple bypass surgery at the age of 63, which was completely unexpected. That really connected me to my dad a lot more, and everything that he had taught me meant that much more, and I stuck to him like glue. And again, Dad, thank you. And that was one thing. I went through depression, which was very difficult as well. Fought through it. Still afraid of sharks. But the most tough thing that happened to me happened this year. Earlier this year, my youngest brother, Pejman, passed away. It's the first time I'm sharing this story in public, and he was 22, just about to celebrate his 23rd birthday, and he had a night of partying and never woke up. I live my life today for him. I have him on my arm, I have him on my chest. Pejman was a special ball of light for me. He was untamed, untamable, uncontainable, energetic, loving, caring, and at his funeral service, you could feel the energy. Everyone that had met him was touched by him in some way. And I stand in front of you today with his energy, because instead of stopping my life, which is, after living a traumatic experience, a normal reaction, I use him as my fuel. He's the turbo in my engine. He's on my shoulder. He's on my body. And if I can teach you anything, if I can leave you with anything today, is don't wait for tomorrow to do something that you've been wanting to do. Take the brakes off life. Love everyone unconditionally. Mend that bond like Zachary did. Do the thing that you want to do most. Don't let anyone stop you, because you don't know when your voyage on this earth will end. Thank you.